And we're at Judges chapter 9. And Abimelech the son of Jerubbaal went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren, and communed with them and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it is better for you either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am bone in your flesh. And his mother's brethren spoke of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem all these words. And their hearts inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, He is our brother. And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Baal-berith, wherewith Abimelech hired vain and light persons which followed him. And he went unto his father's house at Orpha, and killed his brethren, the sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons upon one stone. Notwithstanding, yet Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself. Notes, this is absolutely rotten and despicable beyond my ability to describe it. Verse 6. And all the men of Shechem gathered together, and all the house of Millo, and went and made Abimelech king by the plain of the pillar that was in Shechem. Notes, well, first of all, I got to apologize. I think I said that Saul was actually the first king. Well, in this case, I did make a mistake. Anyways, but Abimelech was a son of Gideon. It is amply illustrated in this chapter that he who sows of the flesh shall reap of the flesh, which is corruption. Abimelech, born of the flesh, born of the will of the flesh, I should say, became a channel and an instrument of wickedness to Israel. Israel would have fared much better, and the family of Gideon as well, as if he would have never have been born. When Gideon looked at this baby when he was born, little did he realize that he had given conception to nothing less than a monster. A wrong action which at the time seems harmless bears bitter fruit in after years. To become king of sorts, he would murder all of his brothers, some 69 total. It seems to me like he may have actually hired those people back there, those light and vain people. They probably helped out in this. That'd be my guess on it. Anyways, verse 7. And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood in the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice, and cried, and said unto them, Hearken unto me, you men of Shechem, that God may hearken unto you. Notes. Now, as stated in verse 5, Jotham was the youngest son of Gideon, the only one left alive of the slaughter of his 69 brothers. Remember, every last one of them was murdered by Abimelech. Verse 8. Oh, jeez. I wish people would stay quiet. Anyways, verse 8. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them, and they said unto the olive tree, Reign you over us. But the olive tree said unto them, Should I leave my fatness, wherewith by me they honor God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? And the tree said to the fig tree, Come you and reign over us. But the fig tree said unto them, Should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said the trees unto the vine, Come you and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, Should I leave my wine, which cheers God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said all the trees unto the bramble, Come you and reign over us. And the bramble said unto the trees, If in truth you anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble, and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Notes. Now, this is an allegory of sorts. Okay, Jotham's allegory was both a parable, actually, and a prophecy. It had an immediate fulfillment, for the men of Shechem elected the bramble to rule over them, and mutual destruction was the result. But the allegory had a much wider significance. In the scriptures, I think I've taught on this a little bit, Israel is figured as a fig an olive tree, and a vine. These symbolize national blessings, covenant blessings, and spiritual blessings, the Godhead, all of those things. Now, the bramble is a forepicture of the coming Antichrist. In the future dark day of Israel's rebellion, she will turn aside from all divine fullness and put our trust in the rule of the Antichrist. And guess what? Mutual destruction will be the end result. It's not a very pretty picture, but that's what's coming around the corner, folks. Verse 16. Now therefore, if you have done truly and sincerely in that you have made Abimelech king, and if you have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have done unto him according to the deserving of his hands, for my father fought for you, and adventured his life far, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian, and you are risen up against my father's house this day, and have slain his sons 70 persons upon one stone, and have made Abimelech the son of his maidservant king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother. If you then have dealt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal and with his house this day, then rejoice you in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech and devour the men of Shechem, and from the house of Milo, and let fire come out from the men of Shechem, and from the house of Milo, and devour Abimelech. And Jotham ran away and fled, and went to Beer, and dwelt there for fear of Abimelech his brother. Verse 22. When Abimelech had reigned 3 years over Israel, then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem, and the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech. Notes, if men desire evil, as Abimelech did, God will see to it that they get evil. You have to keep in mind that God is still the God of not only the angels that are good, but He can actually send the angels that are evil after you. And sometimes that's, well, right here, bore out in Scripture. That's exactly what happens. Verse 24. That the cruelty done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which killed them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in the killing of his brethren. And the men of Shechem set liers in wait for him in the top of the mountains, and they robbed all who came along that way by them, and it was told Abimelech. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, came with his brethren, and went over to Shechem, and the men of Shechem put their confidence in him. Verse 27. And they went out into the fields, and gathered their vineyards, and trode the grapes, and made merry, and went into the house of their God, and did eat and drink, and cursed Abimelech. Notes, well, obviously we can see the evil spirit is at work here, doing what God sent him to do. Verse 28. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, said, Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Is not he the son of Jerubbaal, and Zebul his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for why should we serve him? And would to God this people were under my hand, then would I remove Abimelech. And he said to Abimelech, Increase your army, and come on out. Notes, well, Gaal, or Gael if you choose to call him that, he's basically sending a challenge to Abimelech to come out and let's settle the score. Verse 30. And when Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of Ebed, his anger was kindled. Notes, now Zebul, it appears, was probably a governor of the city under Abimelech. Anyways, verse 31, And he sent messengers unto Abimelech privily, saying, Behold, Gaal, the son of Ebed, and his brethren, be come to Shechem, and behold, they fortify the city against you. And we must pick up in chapter 9, verse 32. Thank you, and God bless.